Today, we're painting Route 102 from Pokémon Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire, the fourth painting in our journey to cover the entire Hoenn region. When I started this one, I was thinking, man, some of the later routes are going to be really big, like kinda huge. So big that they won't fit very well into a time-lapse for a YouTube video because they're just these really long horizontal strips. So, that got me thinking, what can I do to make that work better for a video? And I had the idea to split those longer areas up and just stack them on top of themselves. Now, I have a general rule, which is to never leave something to do later, especially if it's an idea you're excited about. Putting things off until the right time just means they don't get done. Either I forget about it, lose interest, or it becomes a chore. And so especially if I'm excited about a project or any kind of creative thing, I need to do it right away or I risk just losing interest in the idea altogether. A lot of the time, this just means scribbling it down in whatever the most basic form of the thing is. That way I can come back to it later when I actually have the time or when I'm more interested. Like if I'm going to bed, I'm not gonna jump up to go turn my PC back on and paint for another 5 hours. I'll just take the 15 seconds to scribble a thumbnail in my sketchbook, maybe write a couple words around it so I can make sense of that chicken scratch later. Sometimes I never come back to it, but having scribbled the idea down means it can turn into something else. It can be the launchpad for whatever my next big project is. So, I had that thought to split and stack the bigger areas on top of each other, but I knew if I just left it till later, it wouldn't get done. I'll forget, or I'll get bored of that idea and come up with a better one. I mean, Fall Arbor Town is what, 90 plus hours of painting away? I think after 90 hours, I'll get bored and come up with a new idea to take its place. So, there's no better time than now. Only Route 102 isn't that long, so splitting it would actually make the video look worse. So I decided, what if I just paint the area twice from 2 different angles? This is something I wanted to do at some point anyway, so why not now? The top half of the time-lapse is the alternate angle, and the bottom is how the route looks in-game. Up top, it's actually just if the camera was looking down from the north side instead. Pretty simple change, but it's a fun little challenge that makes it way more interesting than just look at the map, draw a copy, paint over it, etc. The towns and routes are all designed for that front-facing, top-down view, so recreating them, it's fun to think a bit about what would be in the spaces we can't see. The Hoenn region is hands down my favourite map in the series. I don't know if they're ever gonna make another Let's Go game, but I'd kill for a Hoenn version of them. Everywhere you go, it feels like you're actually exploring a fleshed out world. Each area connects back to somewhere you've either already been or are going to go. It feels like a world you can actually see these creatures living in. My favourite Pokemon designs are the ones that feel like actual monsters, little creatures that have to fight to survive in the world that they really do live in. Hoenn is great for designs like this. The more recent games focus on more mascot looking character designs, but here they all feel real. Cacnea and Cacturne, I 100% believe live in that desert and that they prey on bugs like Vibrava, using that flower on their head as a lure. Or like, imagine if you lived in Verdanturf Town, this small, quiet, peaceful village tucked away at the foot of the biggest mountain in the country. There's a cave up the back of town, and the local rumours if you're out there past 3 AM, nobody's ever made it back alive. The shrieks you hear coming down from the mountain every full moon fuel these rumours. But really it's just Whismur and Xcloud going about their business, protecting their turf from the Zangoose in the area. It's the stuff like this that made me fall in love with the series. When I first saw Pokemon on TV at 4 years old, that's what locked me in. I didn't think about it like this back then, but the fact there was this bigger world beyond just what we can see on screen was so cool, and it's something I'm trying to bring into the projects that I'm working on myself now. Speaking of which, those other projects need some work, so I guess that about wraps this one up. See you next time!